All right, Chelsea fans, we're back to the video. It's been a while. I know we've been doing some other stuff. The World Cup is a bit weird, but don't worry. There is Chelsea news around. I think everybody knows that the one thing that always happens after World Cup is that teams go big for players that they feel had a great World Cup and can be the difference maker for the upcoming season. Now, normally the World Cup's in the summer, but guess what? Now it's in the fall, winter, which means instead of summer transfers, they are going to be winter transfers. January's always been a tough market, inflated prices. Obviously, teams don't want to let good players go in the middle of a season. This one is going to be completely different. It's going to be a wild mess. It's going to be erratic. Teams are 100% going to splash the cash. We're just going to have to see how it all shakes out with everything. So one thing that caught my eye here on the good old Twitter sphere, as you all are probably aware, is that Declan Rice and Mason Mount have been getting quite a bit of attention over in the England camp. Now, one could obviously say that's because, A, they're really good friends. Not wrong. But it's heated up. Chelsea have apparently been looking at Rice for a little while now. Obviously came up through the academy. Chelsea have no contingency plan for N'Golo Kante, who's out of contract at the end of the season. Declan's name has always been mentioned. He's always talked about how, he would be the perfect replacement for an N'Golo Kante. He would, be at home at Chelsea. He has friends, Chilwell, now Raheem Sterling, and obviously the bromance of Mason Mount. You might remember they even got in trouble way back in the COVID lockdowns because they just wanted to go have a kickabout in the park. It ended up kind of being a shame on you. Shouldn't have done that. So at CFC Daily, friend of the pod here, says Rice on quotes about Mason Mount. He probably just doesn't fit the agenda of what people want as an attacking midfield player to look like in this day and age. He is one of the best players I played with, and I'm not saying that because he's my best mate, end quote. So Matt Law had a big piece about this that, again, Mount getting criticism for his production in an England shirt, which is interesting. He brought out the data, the fact that every manager that Mason's ever played under, consistently has said he's great. They've played. So this seems a little bit interesting to me that we would have this kind of a situation with Mason again. And now I'm interested to see how people respond because Declan, you could say, is a bit of a neutral third party. He's only played with him really on the international level, but he plays against him in England, twice a season at least, depending on how cup competitions go. Declan's gonna have to play against him and he's gonna play with him. And so I think this is another litmus test, another data point that says Mason Mount is a great player. Now we're getting to see him more as a traditional 8 with England. It's been Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Mason Mount in a midfield 3 a lot in this tournament so far. And I think we're starting to understand that, maybe he's not even playing his best position at Chelsea, nor has he. This kind of would go along that side, right? That maybe he's better deeper. And the fact that we're asking him to be a goal scoring attacker week in, week out, when that's actually not his best position, but he's adapted to be that, successful in it based on the Chelsea players around him. I mean, he's keeping players out like Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner at times. There are a lot of traditional attackers that he's kept out of the side because of his ability to create and score goals at times as well. But now we're seeing he might be a better number 8. So we'll see here. I know there was a lot of stuff coming out. Football.London has it as well. With, I think, more of the quote says not only with the ball, his quality shows an abundance for England and Chelsea, but the way he is off the ball, you don't see many number 10s who have that together. He's such a team player, such a hardworking and honest guy. That's the thing. Matt Law said it on our last podcast. Go check it out. Mason Mount's ability in space or to find space is second to none. When we're talking about breaking lines and transitioning from defense to offense, this is exactly what we want to see and why we love it. So, it's good to see Mason having a great World Cup tournament. It's just another kind of, as silly as it sounds to say, almost like another notch in his belt a little bit. But we'll have to just, kind of see how the rest of the tournament progresses. I hope he is super successful, scores a few goals, just rips it through and when we're able to do something exciting. But I just want to see where we kind of go with the future of our midfield. The other big one, right, is Matt said that Declan Rice is 100% leaving. You have to imagine that Chelsea are in pole position for this one, right? Pretty obvious. With Mason, with his familiarity with Chelsea, he moved back, to the west side of London. He just came out in the press conferences today and said, you know what? I want to win the trophies. I want to play in the big games. Like, I've been working hard at West Ham, but every player wants to play in the biggest stage. Even quotes how most of his teammates are playing Champions League football, right? What is it, like him and James Maddison? Even the Spurs players are in, with Chelsea, with Liverpool, with Manchester United, Manchester City. He sees his peers playing at that level, and he's not. So Deckers is going to be on the move. Again, we don't see it being a January one, but if we can move on some pieces to get things set up for the summer move, our midfield needs massively revamped. I mean, imagine Nkunku coming in. Hopefully he fully recovers from that injury. You slot him up top, between him and Christian. You sort out the striker, whether it's Kai, whether it's Aubameyang, who, obviously Lukaku's still on the books. I don't think anyone's clamoring for him to come back. Figure out that striking position. Let Mason drop deeper. Imagine having Mason, Kovacic, and Declan Rice in the midfield three. Like, we'd be in a good spot. Obviously, you got Ruben Loftus-Cheek to come in, Conor Gallagher to come in and compete. You have to see what happens with Conte and Jorginho, but all of a sudden you're not relying on those two players week in, week out to, every 3 days in and out to be the engine. Now you really start to see some exciting play from Chelsea. Todd Boehly's continuing to cook. I'm super excited. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But anyways, that's it for us today. I hope you are enjoying the World Cup. I'm having a blast with the football. There's still a lot of distractions off the field. It is what it is, but I think we're progressing through it better. Today, Friday, is the last day of group stage games. If we have anything like we had with the drama with Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan yesterday, today's going to be a great day. So hope you're enjoying it. Knockouts start at the weekend. We'll be back with more podcasts and content after that. But until then, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.